Hi, and welcome to Live with Connie. Today, my fabulous guest star is Regina with Marshknitting101.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
And let's see, we have Charity that joined us so far. Hi,
Hello,
Charity.
Charity.
How are you doing today? And what are you currently working on? And if anyone else is in the chat, please leave a comment so we know you're here. And also want to welcome those that will be watching on replay. And if you do watch the replay, please leave a comment to let us know you watched the replay. And today we're going to be changing things up a little bit. Normally, I do questions where it's basically getting to know you type questions. But the thing is with those questions, I have asked so many questions on my lives that it's very hard to come up with new questions. And lately, I've been like recycling questions I've asked in previous lives. So I thought it was a good idea to change things up. And on my um on my last Coffee with Connie live, I did some coffee trivia questions. So that got me thinking, let's do some trivia questions on my regular lives. So each live, I'm going to have a topic for the trivia questions. And today, as you can tell by my background, it's going to be about UFOs. Y'all know I love me some aliens.
I
And
like that.
thank you. And if anyone has suggestions for trivia topics to ask down the road, just send me an email with your ideas and I'll do that on an upcoming live. But probably my next topics that I'm more likely to get into would be like cats. I wanted to do biscuits. And I was for today's live and I was trying to find biscuit questions. But it was all like the cookie type biscuits. And I wanted, buttery biscuit questions. But and another thing too, I will have where my guest stars also have the option of picking the topic that we do trivia on too. So that's something that I will be doing on my lives. Now I don't know how many trivia questions we'll get into each live. It just kind of depends because we love to chat. Let's see. Jody, Deneen, and Lisa joined us. How are y'all ladies doing? And what are y'all currently working on? But yeah, so that's the plan for today. UFO trivia. So,
UFO.
how are you doing today, Regina?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Waiting for
Awesome.
the waiting for the weather to get warmer. It's pretty out, but it's cold out. 31. So
It's cold today. Granted, my computer says it's 47, but I am cold. So if y'all
mm,
see me shivering, that's why. And I'm also drinking coffee today. This is the coffee cup that Lisa with Coping with Yarn got for me for my birthday. And I love this cup. It's so cute. It's so
it's so
me.
cute.
Meow meow.
Meow meow meow. Too bad it didn't like meow when you picked it up.
And it also has like a little paw print on the handle, right here.
Oh, that's cute.
I can't show it the best. I don't want to dump my coffee.
No, we don't want dumb coffee. That would be bad.
And it has like a matching spoon that goes with it. And it does have like a top too. And let's see, we have Crystal.
Hello, Crystal. How you doing?
And what
Never
are you
gonna.
currently working on, Crystal? And also, for those that don't know, Crystal is getting close to getting monetized. So if y'all don't already have her, please go subscribe. Yeah, go subscribe to her channel. Throw some yarn in her window. And
You're on.
also, I think she needs around 300 more watch hours to reach her watch hours for monetization. So if y'all can play her playlist, that would be awesome too. And for those that have a channel, if y'all could possibly mention in one of y'all videos or a live or on your community pages to try to help Crystal out. But yeah, let's get Crystal monetized.
Get them thummies and go watch some videos. Help her get her watch hours. I've been
And
trying to get caught up on everybody's YouTube videos.
And Crystal's awesome. Y'all will love her.
I like watching
Crystal
her.
Was in the ads.
Doing her plants, for her Joe the Garden State. I always feel like I forget, like, don't say his name right.
Funny thing is, like, I first became familiar with Joe, the Gordon State channel, from Crystal's live. So when she would, whenever she would say hi Joe and stuff, I always thought like, well, actually, I think it was before I knew his name. And I may have even thought at first that, when I heard his name, Joe being, it can be a female's name too. So I thought Joe was a female at first. Then all of a sudden I realized he wasn't. And Lisa says, I'm working on my Palantine shawl, watching UFO documentary called Unacknowledged.
Is she talking about us?
Yeah. She's also an alien lover too, like me. You get me and Lisa together and we'll talk some aliens. Yes, Lisa, I love the cup. It was like when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is so cute.
It is cute. And the little spoon.
And it's perfect for my coffee with Connie lives.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
It is cute.
I like having a cup of coffee for that live. Denise says making a prototype of a beach cover up poncho and cotton. Hope it works out. Ooh, that sounds pretty.
That sounds pretty. The beach does too.
And let's see, Lisa the Grammy joined us. Hi, Lisa. How are you today? And what are you working on? Oops. And yes, tomorrow is the big party. So those that don't know, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, I am having my birthday bash, if I can get the words out. So I hope y'all can make it to that live. And there's going to be lots of prizes. And I don't remember if I said it was at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, but that's the time that it's at. But yeah, we're going to party. Do the Carlton.
Party like it's 1999, huh?
And let's see. Lisa says she's watching me and Bailey, Cindy, and Sarah at the same time. That's a lot. See, I can't really watch like more than one channel really at a time, like with the lives.
Yeah, I get confused. I'm like, all right, so who's saying what? Like, what are we doing? Who's talking about what?
Now, sometimes what I'll do too, like I'll pop in for one a little while, say hi, then I'll leave and then pop in someone else's and say hi.
Sometimes I feel bad. I'll be like pop in one and be like start talking, then I'll get distracted and I'm like, oh yeah, I totally forgot
Me
I was
too.
in a I'll be like working or cleaning or something. I feel bad.
I'm bad for just like disappearing because I get distracted.
I'm like, oh, I was like, what? Or someone's yelling for me. I'm like, all right, let's just see what they need. Or the dog wants to go outside, then I get distracted. It's like, oh, squirrel.
And let's see. Charity says, I am trying to get my daughter's blanket caught up to date and playing Catopoly with the kids while watching your live. You have
Oh,
Catopoly?
that sounds fun.
I think I've seen that before, like on Facebook. And I'm like, that sounds so cool.
Like West Virginia had one, and I think we bought the one for our county that we live in. I was like, that's pretty cool. I never went on Monopoly. I'm always in the hole
But
or
yeah,
I'm down.
because it's basically like Monopoly, but they just use like cat terms.
Mhm.
And speaking of cats, don't be surprised if Sophie might pop up today. She's been, she was earlier hovering around the computer area with me. So, and Allie was too, but before I went live, Allie was sleeping. So usually when she sleeps, she's not as likely to wake up and come over here. So, but y'all
Get,
might get to see Sophie today.
get her cat nap.
It's it's been a while since Sophie's popped up in one of my lives. Well, it's been I think about a week. Because for a while there, it started off where Allie was. Then when Sophie came back, she was. Now it's been Allie again.
She likes the attention. She's like, well, I'm on cameras, like cameras in action.
And the funny thing is, it used to be you didn't see them in my videos often. Like every once in a blue moon, they would come around, like while I was filming or while I was live. But now it's just like, here we are. We want to be
Gotta
little
show us off.
divas.
Gotta show us off, Mom.
Lisa's working on coffee and a blanket. Nice. And let's see. Um, Charity says my daughter got it for a Christmas gift. Sweet. Even Crystal saying sounds fun to play Catopoly. Okay, so I know some of y'all know Regina from Marshknitting101, but I'm sure there will be some that are watching that aren't familiar with her. So I'm gonna let Regina tell y'all more about herself and her channel, and if you have any whips and finished objects that you want to show.
Hello, I'm Regina, aka Marshknitting. I'm a new knitter, so I'm learning new stuff, new to the yarn world. So I'm slowly growing my YouTube channel. Right now on my hooks, I got a pair of socks that I have to work in the flat. It's just kind of
Is
hard
that
for me to
Sparkly
do.
yarn?
Yeah, it's like the dazzle.
Ooh, pretty. What brand is that? But you said
It's
Bedazzle?
Toby.
The
It's
Hobie?
Toby or Hobie or Hobby or Hoobie. It's called Universe.
Oh, I love that those type of yarns because I always like when I see the yarns on Hobie, I'm always like drooling over them, like, oh, I want those yarns.
So I'm working now. I got my hilt done. So I'm working on the bottom of my sock now. I just didn't have the right size like needle to do it on the one. So I'm doing a two. So it's a little bit bigger, but I was
So I
just seeing
have
if
a
it would.
question. So you're basically gonna sew the seam up?
Hmm.
Okay, I've never seen it done like that with socks.
It's actually a lot because with me being left-handed and watching like a lot of the videos, I'm fine until I get down to doing the hill, and it's all like, wait, what they do? I'm like, how's that? I'm like, I'm turning up. I'm like trying to go upside down, trying to figure out how to do it. So I was like, all right. So I seen someone said to do it in the flat. So even I think I'd be fine since I'm getting better at knitting. But I think it's gonna be pretty. You know, I was afraid I wouldn't have enough left, but I think I have plenty.
See,
So
with me, I try to avoid having to sew the seams, so
that's
I
why.
prefer to connect in the round.
See, that's what I was like. Well, we'll see how we. These are mine, so if they fall apart, it'll be okay. was like my trial and error, but I just love the colors. I thought that'd make a pretty like shawl or cardigan too.
Yes.
And
And
then go ahead.
like I said, I was saying earlier, I love those sparkly Hobie yarns. And oh,
I
the
got.
Christmas ones. Ooh.
I was looking at the Christmas ones. I was like, oh, what's the? I like. I'm a pink person, so this has got like the purple and the pink and the green. It's really pretty and the bling bling.
And I love those colors. That's gorgeous.
Thank you. And then I'm working on my triangle shawl.
Ooh, nice.
So I'm done with this part here, the blue. It looks gray. It's like a dark blue. So I didn't know if I should. I couldn't find it for some reason. The other two skein the balls of yarn. There's a lighter green and then there's a lighter blue. So I was debating if I should kind of finish the pattern and do the green or maybe put the blue on neck and finish with the green on the other side. What do you guys think?
Hmm.
I wish I had the balls of yarn with me, but I couldn't find them.
Because you could either do like the alternating, which would be pretty,
That's what I
but
was thinking.
probably
Like,
would be pretty to do it on each side too. The green, like at the front, the very front, and the very end.
because I think, well, you'll see this part more in the back. So, like, should I do like the other blue and connect it, or do like the green and then flip it over with the blue?
I would probably alternate.
That's like too many decisions. I'm not very good at making decisions. So I was like, well, so I wanted to get this done before St. Patty's Day. So
That's pretty.
thank you. And I got that yarn from Hobie. I don't know what the name of it is. It starts with an M. Like, and then I got my temperature blanket, which I'm caught up all but today. I haven't did yet.
Yeah, I got to do today on mine too. Oh, nice.
I think it's gonna be pretty.
I always find temperature blankets are fun to make.
Cause like our weather's been all like out of whack. So like, but there's that.
Ooh.
Like I like the colors. I was like, and I put like a stitch marker to divide the months. I added like you can barely see it pink. I needed a darker pink, but I didn't have any extra for Valentine's Day. And like my sister-in-law's birthday was 12, so I put this color in for her. So then get that caught up. And then my finished object is my cow. My cow. I think it needed to be like bigger, like cow wise. But this is my first one. So you gotta learn, right?
It's pretty. Blue. That is blue, right?
Pretty blue. I just didn't do it. Like this is my like thing. I'm like, I'll just tuck that in for now.
Because I know sometimes purple can come off as blue on camera.
It's like it looks good. I just felt like it needed to be poofier, but this was this one skein of the Hobie extra large Amigo blue. I don't know what I just call it blue. I'm sure it has a specific color, like a light blue.
I've only made one cowl so far.
I was like, I like it. It's cute. I made it for the calendar challenge for the Yarny Fiber Sisters. I never feel like I never get that right. I apologize. It's a big, it's a big long name for me to crunch in there. And then I think that's it. I just did do a video of my yarn from Mary Maximum. I was excited to get that. So you can pop over and check the video. And then once again, I have trouble like loading my videos. So it's like two videos. So I pulled out the laptop today and was working with it. I went live just briefly to see like how the graphics were, and everyone said it was okay. So I think I'm gonna start using it to edit my videos and stuff. So everyone's like, oh, where's the end of the video? I'm like, oh, it's on there 4 videos back. It's a search and find. You gotta search and look for it. It's a mystery.
I am freezing.
I know my toes are cold. I got slippers on. I got my little cardigan. And then I did order some books. I got, I think, 3 of them today in the mail. So I did a video with them. I just ordered them off eBay for like knitting. I was like, they were pretty cheap. So I was like, well, I can't go wrong with that.
But yeah. Yeah, if y'all see me shivering, that's because I'm cold. And we have the heat on, but I guess it needs to be turned up.
Like our sun, well, it's almost 3 here. It's like 2:30. So the sun usually starts to go because I kind of live in the valley. So after 3, it's like the sun goes away until the summertime. Then it comes in the front of the house. But like in the summertime, it's cool. Like it's colder outside. It's colder in the house than it is outside. I think it's because we don't get a lot of sun. And then that we have like the woods like behind us. So
And what's bad is that you gotta be careful turning the heat up too high because then it's like all of a sudden it feels like it's an oven. So usually it's best to turn it up a little at a time, and then later on too, the temperature will probably warm up more. So you gotta count that, equate that into what you're gonna set the heater on.
we use like it's called anthracite coal. So like we can burn wood or like the clean coal. And then some days like we'll let it go out and we'll just plug the electric heater in, kind of like warm up the house.
We
And
have one of those wall gas heaters. Let's see, where
but
did I leave off?
I am hoping to do a giveaway for like for my 200 subscribers, so kind of keep an eye out for that in
Woohoo,
March.
congrats.
I'm almost there. I was getting there. Some days I feel bad because I work, and then days I'm like, oh, I just don't feel like doing anything. But I was like, I gotta post the video to keep my family and my Arnie and my crafty people wondering what I've been doing and stuff. That's why I usually do like the quick little 5-minute videos, just jump in, jump out. I'm like, I'm still alive. I'm still knitting. I work in healthcare, so it's always this days that you think you're off, they're calling. You want to come in? I'm like, no, not really, but yeah, I guess.
Don't you just love getting called in on your day off?
I'm like, oh, I missed that phone call. Sorry. Like, oh, you tried to call me?
And now you can't really get away with that much anymore with cell phones because it
They're like,
used to be, you didn't want to get called into work. You just don't answer your phone or let your answering machine pick up your phone. Now with cell phones, people kind of expect that you answer it since you have your phone typically on you at all times.
but the good part of like living in West Virginia, we don't have good cell phone service in a lot of places. Like, oh, must drop the call.
But I know, like when I used to waitress, it's like I got to the point where I learned that when they call you in, it's going to be a hectic shift,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, and you usually didn't make good tips either, and I got to the point where it's like, oh no, no, I'm not coming in.
I'm
It's
like,
going to be all sorts of chaos. No, thank you.
or like they know that you usually come in, so they're like, well, we'll just call her and see if she comes in. I'm like, don't call me anymore.
And
Like, take me off your call list.
when I was younger, I was that type. Oh, I come in on my day off. You call me? Okay, yeah, I'll come in. But later on, it was just like most of the time it was more headache. And I've also
Yeah.
gotten to the point like now, if you ask me in advance, then I'm usually fine with it. But like if you ask me last minute, it's like no, I already have my mind set on what I'm doing that day. And it's just like, nope, not coming in.
Yeah.
I'm bad.
Like our winters aren't the greatest up here sometimes, and I'm like, oh, do I want to go try to get to work? Because I only live like 15 minutes from my work, but I'm like, oh, I gotta go up all the mountains and then come back down on them up. I'm like, yeah, I'll come in during the daytime. Like, I'll come in when the snow plow goes by.
Let's see, we have Monica, Roberta, and Laura Lee that joined us. How are
Hello.
y'all doing today? And what are y'all currently working on? And Lisa, love that yarn that you were showing.
Girl. I got like two different ones. So I was like, ooh. So I was like,
Oh,
this
you
is.
got another color one?
I said I got like a. If you give me 2 minutes, I can run and get it.
Okay. I'll just read some comments while you're going. Let's see. Laura Lee says, I'm at least a week behind on my temperature blanket. Yeah, I find when it comes to making temperature blankets, you got to be careful because when you let yourself fall too far behind, it's harder to catch up. Where I always try to, I really try to for the most part, try to get my row done every day. Now, like I know whenever I was sick with COVID, I got behind, but okay, you got it.
There's this one.
Ooh, you're making me drool.
And like it's color 42 universe. It's like 98 acrylic and 2% polyester. And
But
this is the other one.
Hobie
Yeah.
has such beautiful yarn. Ooh, and I love their sparkly yarn.
I was like, I've never tried this. I was like, oh, it's cute.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping maybe this year for Black Friday when they have their big sales, I'm hoping maybe I can get a little bit of Hobie yarn.
I got this back. I got it off. I won off of Gina, the Turnpike knitter. I feel like I hashed that out, but I won a gift card, and I said, "Well, let's try." I hear everybody talking about it. I was like, "Well, let's just see how it turns out." I had a little bit of trouble ordering because I had to pay a little extra. Because I ordered a couple other things too, but since I didn't know it was like in Denmark, my card got locked, and I had to call the bank and tell them it was fine. It was me trying to order that, so but I
I
was
had
happy
that
with it.
happen to me when I used to order stuff off of eBay from China that it would block the my bank would block the transaction.
I got like a text message. I'm like, yes, it's me. Don't block my card.
And then I, I think it was related to that, but I'm not completely sure. It may have been, the actual cord itself. But it got to where, like, a lot of times it wasn't like reading the chip on the cord. And it was like, my transactions weren't going through. And it was like, okay, there's money in the bank, what's going on? So we eventually ended up having to get another debit card because of that.
Yeah, I was like, well, I better hurry up and call them before they block my card.
Yeah, because it was just like, okay. And cashiers typically will only run a cord so many times. But the funny thing is, a lot of times, like if you kept running it, it would eventually, would go through. But we ended up having to get a replacement cord, and of course they charge you for that. Whenever it's like it was probably the chip that went out in the cord.
My chip like pops out every once in a while. So like at the ATM up the road, I can't use it to take money out. So I'll go to the Family Dollar and just pay the dollar extra for the overdraft or not the overdraft, but the ATM fee. I'm like, I hope it still works. Because then you got, like you said, you got to pay for a new debit card. I'm like, well, it expires next in 2023, so I'm just going to hold off until then.
And Lisa says she hasn't started on February yet for her temperature blanket.
Well, it's only 28 days, so you'll get it done. I got faith in you, girl. You
Yeah,
can do it.
and one thing too, like when you fall behind on temperature blankets, sometimes you feel overwhelmed trying to catch up, but probably the best way to catch up is just to do 2 rows a day until you get caught up. That way it don't feel real overwhelming. And Charity loves that blue from your cowl.
Isn't that pretty? Pretty. I kind of like start liking the color blue. I love pink. I'm a pink person, but I was like blue and like the teals. So all kinds of prettiness out there.
Yeah, I love
Oh,
blue. I also like pink is like a close second, and then like purple. Those tend to be like my favorite 3 colors.
I always say it's like going to Baskin Robin. There's 31 flavors. Which one do you? There's 30 different colors.
Let's see. Lisa's saying to tell the UFO behind me to beam light on me to warm me up. If only. If only. Laura Lee says they made it to 14 degrees.
Ew, thought we were cold.
I know. I'm cold at 4. Well, my computer says 48 now. I'm cold at 48 degrees.
31 my way, so it probably feels like 28 with the wind blowing.
Let's see. Checking to see who's joined in. Let's see. Brenda's joined in. I think that's the only new name I saw. How are you doing today, Brenda? And what are you working on? Lisa says she's going to be vacuuming and dusting while she listens at the same time. Good thing I have headphones on so I can still hear. Well, kind of. Yeah, Lisa's ready for the UFO trivia. It's coming shortly. Laura Lee says, I wish I had a wood burner.
They are nice.
And Roberta says, I'm working on a lovey, so just lurking this afternoon. Nice. Monica's from West Virginia.
Hello.
Roberta says, I have a privacy function. Everyone knows I'm not going to answer when I do that.
We'll say hello and then Eber from West Virginia.
And that yarn, it was a universe Hobie yarn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at like getting a Campbell. Yeah, universe. And this color is 39. We call it the bling bling.
Yeah, I should be getting some my Mary Max. I think it was Mary Max. Yeah, the Mary Maxim order. I didn't order that much from them, but I should be getting that order. Tracking says it should come in the 28th, but
Go ahead.
sometimes it comes a day early. So I do wonder if I might get it tomorrow.
I will say, like I ordered mine Thursday evening on the 17th, so we'll just say the 18th, and then what? The 21st was kind of like a holiday for us, and I got it on Thursday. I was like, that's the quickest I've ever got anything in the mail. Because it took me like forever to get my Hobby Lobby order. I was like, oh, I don't think it's ever coming. That was back when they were having the storms out there in January.
And I also have a Hirschner's order, but I'm not sure when that one's coming in yet. Because the last I checked on the tracking, it didn't really like say an expected date yet. At least I don't think it did. Maybe it did. If it did, I don't remember what it is.
I haven't tried anything from them. My mom was telling me about Mary Maxim. I was like, well, I'll try that. So I ordered a book, and I seen other people doing the orders and yarn unboxings and stuff. I was like, that's pretty. And they had good deals. So,
but I got that like from Mary Maxim, I got this Christmas sparkly sock yarn, and I've been eyeing that yarn, and I was like,
my birthday present. One of them.
Monica saying I'm currently working on a ripple scarf with Mandela yarn. Nice. And I love Mandela yarn,
Beautiful.
especially
The
the
color.
sparkly ones. I wish they had more, like with the sparkle, I wish they had more color combinations than what they do. Laura Lee says, I'm working on the last part of the calming comfort blanket. Nice. You're going to have to send me a picture when you finish, Laura Lee. And let's see. Yeah, Laura Lee still trying. Laura Lee struggles with figuring out sending pictures, but lately she's been able to do it. So Frank just coming in. Our screen door, like it always sticks, so it makes like this loud noise when it opens. And let's see. I think Frank's coming over to tell everyone hi. No, not yet. Roberta says it does have something to do with it because they deactivate the chip. So, like, whenever you try to order, like, like from China, and they won't let the bank, declines the transaction, they turn the chip off in the card.
I was like, no. I was like, no. I'm like, that's me making that order. I'm like, don't walk it yet.
But that could be a possibility because, like I said, it was right after that happened that we started having trouble with the cord. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all this. I think it was my last live where I was asking about celebrity crushes. And I was talking about my childhood one with Sean Cassidy and how I had a picture from whenever I was a little kid. I found the picture and I posted it on my community page today.
I'll have to get checked out.
And I'm also gonna like on my birthday bash tomorrow, like I'm gonna do a little intro before the live starts. And I'm gonna have like some pictures. And that picture will be on the intro tomorrow too.
The party.
Crystal says, "Oh, okay. I know you have problems sending pictures. If you want, you can post a picture on my Facebook group if that's easier for you." Yeah, she's talking to Laura Lee. Laura Lee says, "I found out if you put your cord in your wallet, don't push the chip port all the way in. The friction after a while makes the chip inoperable." Lisa likes my idea. 2 rows a day till you catch up.
That's what I'm worried about. Like in the summertime, I'm like, am I gonna be like super busy? I got like get caught up on that. I was like, I'll probably try to do some in the morning and then the evening.
Hmm. Because with temperature blankets, it's so easy to fall behind on them. And I know, like in my previous temperature blankets, sometimes I've fallen behind because like I'll run out of yarn and have to order yarn, and I'm waiting for it to come in, and that gets you behind too. And you never know how much yarn you'll need of a color with a temperature blanket. You
Yeah,
think you'll have enough yarn, and then you're like, oh, I need more yarn.
so I was like, oh, I hope I don't run out because some of this yarn, I'm like, I don't know if I'll mix it together or match it close enough.
And like my temperature blanket this year, I'm doing an Afghan, which is smaller than my previous temperature blankets. So I'm hoping that I don't run out of yarn for the colors that I'm using.
I like
Well,
your colors. Them are
thank
pretty.
you. Yeah, I like doing the shades. And I got that idea. I think it was from someone in a Facebook group I'm in. They did shades of a color and I fell in love with it. Where last year I did shades of blue, but my temperature blanket for last year, I mean, don't get me wrong, I still like it, but I wasn't as happy with that one because I did the granny stitch on it. And what ended up happening was, that's a bigger stitch. So if I would have done one row every day, I would have had this humongous blanket. So someone had given me the idea of doing like 3 rows for a week and do the average temperature for the week. So with doing that with my area, I didn't have like a lot of color changes. Like I have like big blocks of the same color. So and I don't know, with temperature blankets, you like seeing that color change more.
That's why I like mine. Mine's like green and like a white and like purple.
I mean, I know like in the summertime in my area, I don't have that much temperature change. I mean, it does change some, but you'll see, kind of larger sections the same color. But it's still not as bad as like doing the average for the week. But yeah, but this year I did shades of pink. Next year I'm either gonna do shades of purple or shades of green. And then the following year I'll do the other one. But next year I wanna do my temperature blanket with what do you call it? Tunisian crochet. I want to do a Tunisian crochet temperature blanket next year.
That sounds interesting.
And and I want to learn how to do Tunisian crochet in general this year.
I still have that on my to-do list to learn to crochet. I was like, oh, we have to do it. I'm like, maybe I should wait a little bit longer since I'm still kind of new at knitting to learn all the other stitches and stuff.
And I really like with Tunisian crochet, I really want to try to find like more patterns that are for Tunisian crochet. And I've done some searching and I don't see as many patterns for it.
Oh, let's see if I can find any. Keep an eye out for you.
So if anyone knows like of a good website or patterns on Ravelry or YouTube tutorials of actual, patterns, not the actual stitches, the patterns, let me know. Let's see, we have Doris that joined us. How are you
Hello.
doing today, Doris? And what are you
Mhm.
currently working on?
Or good afternoon, I should say, neighbor.
Brenda says it's 31 degrees here.
I feel
And
you.
working on Crystal's new pattern. The chicken pattern. Is it the chicken one? Crystal's chicken is so cute. If y'all haven't seen Crystal the Yorny chicken and Crazy Cat Lady's chicken that she made, it is just so precious. And like she is so talented too.
He is.
Like I mean, she designed that pattern for the chicken. I was like, you go, girl.
I'm like, I'm still learning. I'm like, I'm probably making my own designs as I go. I was like, oh, no, this is right. But look, this turned out. It doesn't fall apart. So it must be something. Because this is like a new stitch to me. I think it's called the Easy Seed Stitch. So it's like
Ooh,
it's just like
nice.
you purl knit, and then you change it back around and you do the opposite. I was like, oh, I learned something new.
Nice. Oops, we lost Regina. Hopefully she comes back soon. But yeah, after I finish that Abigail shawl by Bonnie Bay, I'm planning to do a Vara shawl next. And this will be my first time doing one. I've never done the Vara stitch yet. So that would be something new I'm learning. Um, but I love the look of the Vara shawls. I think they're beautiful. Okay, Crystal says it's in the highs, 30s here today in Texas. And Lisa the Grammy says 39 where she's at. Okay. It looks like Regina's trying to come back, but her devices aren't connecting. And she was having that problem before we came live today. So hopefully she comes back soon. And let's see. Yeah, so it must be the chicken. and and Charity says, I would love to get some of Hobie's butterfly yarn. I'm gonna have to check to see which one's the butterfly yarn. Regina's back. Yay!
My internet was like, I'm like, no. Sorry about that. Technology.
It's all good. It happens with technology. I'm gonna have to see which one's the butterfly yarn is. I may have seen it, but I just don't realize which one it is. Laura Lee says, I always have trouble keeping my eyes open this time of day. If I fall asleep, I'll leave you running. And let's see. Everyone's saying hello. And they're also saying hi to Frank. He says hi to everyone.
Well, hi, Biscuit.
Crystal says she saw that post. Too cute. Yeah, and it's like that face I'm making in that picture. I'm like, oh, like Sean Cassidy is mine.
I should definitely check that out now.
I was obsessed with Sean Cassidy as a kid. I had the T-shirts, the posters.
Mine was like Johnny Depp and Leonardo Capitated, as I called him. And Brad Pitt. Everybody went through the Brad Pitt phase.
No, I love Johnny Depp in 21 Jump Street.
Johnny Depp, he's just funny. I like him in like the Pirates of the Caribbean.
I would love it if they could like do a true 21 Jump Street, like bringing it back. I mean, I know they did the movie, but to me the movie was more kind of it was too much comedy and stuff. You know, it wasn't really like 21 Jump Street. Roberta says yes on the core thing. I've had it happen 4 times, 4 days in a row. Very frustrating when you try to buy groceries and they've deactivated the chip. I could swipe it through. Yes, and that's where it would happen to me. Usually, trying to buy groceries. And nothing's worse after you got like a buggy full of groceries.
You're like, I got money.
And you spent all that time shopping and you wasted your time because you can't. Now the one thing was, at least at Walmart, you could go like to our bank is in Walmart, so you could go to the bank to get the cash, or if it would work in the ATM. But like at other grocery stores, there goes your groceries.
You're like, denied. I'm like, oh, I just got paid.
Roberta says, I finally had to call and tell them that unless it's truly an unusual activity, don't do it. They cut off my cord when my check came in because they didn't think I was supposed to get it. Oh, that's horrible. But yeah, and I would even tell them at the bank that, okay, that's legit. And I think because it was PayPal, it would show like as California or so. I don't know. But it was like, no, that's really us making that purchase. And Roberta says anything single crochet can be adapted to a Tunisian. That's good to know. I didn't know that. So I learned something today. But I really want to learn Tunisian crochet. Crystal saying you fell out the window.
Oh, the alien got me.
That's what I always say when people disappear on a live. Oh, the aliens got them.
they brought me back. They're like, nope, you can keep this one. we're, we're returning this one.
Charity says, I love the virus pattern. I have done 2 shawls and a blanket using the pattern.
I haven't
No.
tried that one yet.
But with the virus shawl, I need to figure out what yarn I'm going to use. I'll probably use one of my cake yarns, but I'm not sure yet which one.
Like I want to like I need to learn like how to like if I want to make a cardigan, like how much yarn I need. That way I order. It's like when I did my first cardigan, like the sleeves were perfect, but my like body was like yay big, and I just got the mainstream like the Walmart gray. So I was just learning. I was like, well, I don't want to spend a lot of money on something if I'm not going to stick with it. And I'm like, well, I should have read the directions better and like did my little slot, like knitted, whatever you call it, the little square thing that you make.
See, with knitting, like I really haven't done clothing yet with knitting. The closest thing is a dog sweater. But other than that, I've never made a sweater. I've never done a cardigan.
The gauge swatch, I think is what it's called. The little, I'm like, it's something else in there. But I was like, because I was like, I'd love to make this into like a cart. Like it'd be pretty for like spring
Ooh,
Easter kind
yeah.
of thing. I was like, oh, how much do I need? I'm like, oh, I like measure and I'm like, well, I'll just wing it. You gotta learn, right? I said, how did
And,
they do it back in the day?
and after I finish my knitted socks, I plan to try to knit Frank a pair of gloves.
Oh, they're nice.
Which this will be my first time doing gloves, and I haven't even done mittens or fingerless gloves yet.
I did a pair on the loom, my pair of mittens. Like I would like one was good, the other one was kind of like the thumb was all wacky. I'm like, oh well, they work. They keep your hands warm.
Exactly. So yeah, so that's something new I'm going to be learning. Yeah, I don't just start like with the simpler one.
That's why
It's
I was
like,
like, ah.
no, make all the fingers.
I think that's why I like when I first like got pretty good at the looming, I moved on to knitting. And I think my first thing was a pair of socks, which I wouldn't recommend knitting socks first. Like start with a hat or maybe a scarf, a dishcloth or dish towel.
But yeah, I
But
started off on the loom. I think I was loom knitting. I think I know definitely 6 months, but I think it was about a year. Then I learned how to do regular knitting. And
I
then, which I think is it's almost 3 years since I learned how to knit and
let's see,
made.
it's trying to think. I think it's been like I learned in February of last year, and I went up till about April, and then I just started knitting. So almost a year for me in knitting, but a year in the yarny family.
Yeah, May will make 3 years for knitting. And then after knitting, I learned crochet. And crochet, it's been almost a year and a half.
Did you find it easier to is crochet easier for you than knitting?
Actually, I'm more comfortable with knitting. Like one thing I didn't mention that before I even tried to learn loom knitting, did loom knitting, I did try to learn how to crochet first. I could not get it. And I thought like I would never learn, or if I, or like I would have to have someone like sitting with me to teach me. So like I kind of thought I was almost unteachable when it came to crochet. But I had subscribed to Craftsy, the promotional offer, and I saw that they had crochet lessons on there. Um, and like the one I did was by Selena Baca. I love Selena Baca. She is an amazing teacher. And I mean, she explained everything well and clearly. She was so thorough. And like doing hers, it was so easy to learn. Like it was like I got it like that. But I found the thing that like I struggled with was the end of the row. Like the turning, how many you chained. I didn't understand that. And I really didn't feel like the other tutorials that I watched was real clear on it. It's like I mean they would kind of tell you, but they didn't like I didn't feel like they stressed it enough.
That's what sometimes like I'll watch a tutorial and then I'll mute it, but I'll have like the what do you call it, where the captions come up and follow them that way. I was like, and sometimes I'm like, all right, I can do better this way. Because sometimes they talk too fast. Like, what to say? Like, knit 2 5 6 back. Well, gotta go back. Like, turn around.
And then sometimes it's hard to see where they're really sticking that needle at, or I mean the crochet hook at. And that's the other thing too, because sometimes when you're learning something new, I do find you may have to take a bit from one tutorial and a bit from another one to really clearly understand how to do the stitch, or maybe three different tutorials.
It's like the trying to do the hill and stuff on the sock. I'm like, all right, I watched this one. I was like, I'm gonna go watch this one because someone told me to go watch this one. I'm like, I was like, let's combine them all together.
Hmm. And sometimes you have to do that, whatever works for you when it comes to learning. And what works for one person may not work for another person.
Yeah. And I'm a lefty, so I'm like, I'm trying to get my brain. We won't like hold the yarn out. It's just like, nope, you gotta keep it this way. I'm like, no, I'll be
The
so much slower.
the funny thing is I am a lefty, but I crochet and all right-handed.
I, I tried so hard. I'm like, I'm gonna get it. Maybe eventually I won't know the difference and just switch it around.
Because I figured if I could learn to do it right-handed, it would just make my world easier. I wouldn't have to look for left-handed tutorials or have to bother, with reversing patterns. And from what I understand, like with crochet, some patterns you can't, convert. But there are some that you evidently can't. So I was
Uh,
like, so I learned how to do it right-handed.
I just think in my head, I'm like, all right, so it's left-handed. So if they're doing it this way, I got to remember I'm starting from the other side to work my way around.
And that was one thing when I initially tried to learn how to crochet my failed attempt. I was trying to do it left-handed. And so I didn't have as many options for tutorials like a right-handed person does. So that's another thing that probably made it more difficult for me learning. And let's see, we have Maribel that joined us.
Well,
And
how are you today?
yes, how are you? And what are you working on, Maribel? But
What
yeah,
can you?
but like I said, you know, what works for one person doesn't always work for the another person. Everyone learns differently.
It's like when I was trying to do my first tutorial, I was like, well, like my camera like was raw. Like, but I was like, well, I put it out there. It might help someone. Like you gotta learn from one mistake to get better to the other, so you don't make the mistake.
And Lisa says it's 49 degrees in her area. And let's see. Crystal says those are my favorite Johnny Depp movies, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. The rum. I need more rum.
And Roberta says when I was customer service at Walmart, I would ask for ID and punch in manually. Yeah, and like that's oh look, we have a visitor.
The kitty kitty.
It's Alley Cat.
Meow meow meow.
Oh, I didn't tell y'all about the kitty drama today. So Allie was by me at the computer earlier. And then poor Sophie, she goes like she starts to jump up and she sees Allie. So she stops and, moves on and backs away. Well, Allykins goes and chases her. And I mean, she what's the word that when earlier Frank whenever Allie was what getting all aggressive. Yeah. She was staring. Yeah, she was like stalking Sophie and staring down at her. I mean, she was literally probably about a foot away from Sophie, right in front of her, just glaring at her.
Like, not today. It's my 15 minutes of fame.
Mm-hmm. She's licking my face. But yeah, she's something else. Yeah. She's mean to Sophie. And the funny thing is, Sophie later on was hanging around me at the computer after Allie moved on. And I really thought like Sophie would probably come around on today's live. But we got Allie. She woke up from sleeping.
Like, got my catnap in. Now I gotta go get my diva on.
And Lisa saying Tiffany Hansen does left-handed tutorials.
I have to look that one up. I'm trying
to remember when I was looking at left-handed tutorials for crochet, which ones. I know at one point I had tried Morley Bird, which I love Morley Bird's knitting tutorials. She's awesome. That's how I learned how to read a pattern. Now, when it came to actually learning knitting, I learned from Shondi with Expression Fibers.
I think that's Expression Fibers. I think I used her a couple times.
Yeah. Maribel's a lefty as well.
A lefty. Or South Pole girls.
Yeah, Crystal saying that she thinks Lisa accidentally timed Maribel out.
Uh-oh.
Sorry that happened.
Always told people, I'm like, if I'm on your live and you get blocked, it's probably because I'm at work and I stuck you in my pocket while you still on. And when I pick my phone up, it says blocker report. I'm like, oops, I'm on.
Look, Allie, Aunt Crystal's telling you hi.
Like, hi.
And Lauren's here. Hi, Lauren. How are you doing today? And what are you currently working on?
Hello.
Yeah, Lisa did accidentally put Maribel in timeout. Okay, so I guess I'll ask my first trivia question for today.
I get my alien cap on.
I think normally if you get in timeout, I think it times them out for a certain period of time. Like I think it's like a couple of minutes and then they can come back on their own, I think. I hope. Let's see. It should let her come back. It's blocking that you got to be careful about.
This was like, oh, how many people I did that to? I apologize. I was like, note to self: if you're if you don't put anybody in the pocket, make sure your phone is off.
And I don't think I have Maribel's email or anything. Okay, yeah, Crystal saying 300 seconds is 5 minutes before they can start typing again. Okay.
Well, hello, Tank.
Hi, Tank. How are you doing today? And what are you working on? Okay, so back to the UFO trivia. And like these are some interesting facts too. So I hope y'all enjoy the trivia. Like I said, I learned some new things, and I always think it's good to learn about new things. And this is kind of an educational thing. Okay, the first question, which I think most of y'all will know the answer to this question. Where is Area 51 located? And your options are A, California, B, Nevada, C, New Mexico, and D, Colorado. So what would your guess be Regina?
Is it Mexico?
Well, I'm not going to say until
Me-
like I read comments.
I know it's in Roswell.
So you're going to go with Mexico.
I'll go with Mexico.
Okay. I'm
Mexico.
going to repeat the question again for y'all. Where is Area 51 located? A, California, B, Nevada, C, New Mexico, or D, Colorado?
I'm gonna go with, is it Nevada? Roswell? Desert? I should know this. Oh, making my brain think.
Okay, yeah. Maribel is back. Yeah, Maribel, Lisa accidentally timed you out. That's what had happened. Lisa says, that's what happens when I'm dusting at the same time.
You dusted that bunny out.
Yeah, let's see.
I
And Tank's making stitch markers and hooks. Oh, so you make hooks too? Ooh.
Ooh.
I think the polymer clay hooks are so beautiful. And like now Crystal makes beautiful ones. And like I don't know if y'all ever saw V's from Stills to Show. Like she like makes little like designs and stuff on hers. The time she went live with me, she was showing like all the ones she made, and I mean she has some gorgeous ones. Lauren says I found knitting easier to learn after I learned crochet. Couldn't get knitting at all. See, knitting I picked up right away how to do the stitches. But
Like it was pretty easy for me. Like all I know is knit and purl and add one, take away, bind off, and now I know how to do the easy seed stitch. So
yeah, with knitting you don't have really as many stitches. The main two is knit and purl. But you do have a few other ones like knit front and back, SSK, and there's some other ones that start with S. now, now sometimes some stitches because it's been a while since I've done it, so I have to refresh my memory how this one is. Because the ones that start with S, I start to get confused. I mean, it's like SPPO or something like that.
stitch, return stitch.
Okay, so Lisa thinks New Mexico.
I like you.
Charity
Hmm.
thinks it's Nevada. Okay, the options, Crystal, was A, California, B, Nevada, C, New Mexico, or D, Colorado.
I still want to go with New Mexico. I feel like that's right, but then I'm thinking Nevada.
And Adele joined us. Hi, Adele. How are you doing today? And what are you working on? She thinks it's New Mexico. Maribel says Colorado. Crystal says Nevada.
No,
Tank
my
says,
character.
I know.
What
I'm going to
is
reveal it shortly.
it?
Jody
I'm
says Nevada.
like, I want to say that, but I think it's like Mexico, New Mexico. It's Roswell. Or am I getting them confused?
Tank saying all different guesses. Wow. And you know what's funny, Tank? I would think that like, a lot of people would know this. That's what's so funny. Like, because, like learn well, I guess maybe not, but
No, I'm like, I'm gonna stick with New Mexico. That's my final answer.
Crystal says Tank makes beautiful hooks too, and she sells hers.
I have to
Awesome.
check her out.
It's on your community tab. And that's odd because like I tend to like on my phone, I could check like specifically posts on people's community tabs. And I've never noticed any posts from you, to do with your hooks.
See,
And I think let me make sure I'm subscribed to you.
the only way I see like community tabs is if I'm on my computer. Like on my phone, it like I have to like scroll like all the way to the bottom of all the video posting to see it.
Let me double check.
Tell me the answer.
Yeah, I am subscribed to Tank. I thought I was. Let's see. Oh, I see them now. Oh, those are pretty, Tank. And I see some stitch markers too now. But that's probably why you just posted them like 19 hours ago. But yeah, because I always like to see what people post on their community pages.
Like, oh, like I'm hoping to get one of them. It'll be a ways down the road, but I think it'd be easier.
And like I was saying earlier in the live, today I made a post on my community page of my childhood crush, celebrity crush. So you get to see me as a little girl with my
No,
Cassidy poster.
I'm listening, Tank. I don't hear it.
Lisa says I have hard time with knitting. What are you having trouble with, Lisa? And Charity says I tried knitting. I would drop stitches and I couldn't cast off. The drop stitches is the hardest thing when it comes to knitting.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta it basically takes practice. The more you knit, the better you get and learn how to avoid them. But I find like your placements of your fingers makes a big difference. And I try not to let the yarn get too close to the tip of the needle. Always use end caps when you put your work down and push the yarn back on your needles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like there's still times that I will get a slip stitch, but I don't get them that often anymore.
Like,
But when you're new, you're gonna get them.
I think it's because I don't have the things to put on the edge of my like, the blockers. So I try to sometimes just shove it down. But sometimes I forget, like if I'm at work and I just shove it back in there, I'm like, oh no, don't move, it's gonna fall off. Yeah. I'm like, save it. I'm not going off the bridge today.
But that's my advice. But a lot of it is learning to hold your hands to keep those stitches from slipping. Okay, Adele says definitely New Mexico.
I'm gonna stick with the Mexico.
Yeah, SK2P. Yeah, that's one. I think there's some others that begin with S too. And let's see. Brenda says Nevada. Tank says I'll use ESP Regina to tell you.
Like I hope that's right. I think I'm going with New
If,
Mexico.
if you're lucky, you'll get it.
I think something zapped me in there.
I will say one thing. It's not what most people typically think it is, where you would think it was at.
Not makes you think it's Colorado.
Let's see, Roseanne joined us. Hi, Roseanne. How are you doing today? She's guessing New Mexico and she's knitting a shawl. She's doing good. Lisa says her husband says Nevada. You should listen to your husband. It is Nevada, y'all.
Oh,
You would think it was New Mexico, but it's not.
it's like New Mexico or Roswell. Well, I was thinking of Roswell. Isn't that where it is?
Yeah. That's why people get think New Mexico because of Roswell, but it's actually Nevada.
Oh, I needed my hat on so I could get it.
Lauren says my kids keep trying to get into my drink. Unfortunately for her, I sloshed a strong shot of cherry whiskey into it. Ooh, don't let her touch that. And Lisa says, I have no coordination. I dropped too many drop stitches. Yeah, that is the hard part. Um, but like I said, I find like you kind of keep your fingers close to the top and you kind of hold it where you're kind of blocking that yarn from being able to fall. And but it does take a while. And also when you start off knitting, bamboo is better when it comes to slip stitches because like if you use aluminum, it's more slick and those stitches are easier to fall off your needles.
Yep. Like,
I mean, I use aluminum now, but I've learned basically how to prevent the slip stitches from happening that often. But yeah, starting off, I would recommend bamboo knitting needles. But another thing too, when it comes to knitting, they claim that, and I know this isn't always the case, but they do say like you typically have a faster knitting speed if you use aluminum needles. That like with the bamboo, you typically don't knit as fast. But starting off, I would not worry about your speed.
no. Like,
The
make sure
main
you don't lose your stitches.
that's more once you get knitting down, then you can if you want to focus on building your speed. But some people in general just like knit or crochet faster than others. And there's nothing wrong with being slower. There's nothing wrong with it.
I always say
You know,
slow and steady always wins the race.
exactly. Lauren says it is 8 p.m. here, so not midday. So not midday drinking. You love that shoulder, huh, Allie? I kind of don't like how she's positioned because I worry that she'll show y'all her true back view. And usually, like when I hold her, I try to, kind of keep my hand so, like, y'all not likely to see that part of her. But she's determined to be on my shoulder right now. Lisa says, now I'm tagged to do a granny square blindfolded, laughing out loud. I can't even chain without looking. That's sport. So I remember whenever I did that blind challenge, mine was, I think, to do like so many stitches blindfolded.
Oh my.
And I did not do too good with the crochet. I mean, I did better than I thought I would, but I struggled with the crochet. But the knitting, I was fine. I think I messed up on one stitch with the knitting. I think I had to do like 20 stitches. So knitting was easier for me to do blindfolded. And I find with knitting, it was easier for me to fill the stitch. Okay, let's see. Charity says, I have been crocheting for almost 23 years, so more comfortable with crocheting. Monica says Nevada, yeah. Lisa says I was thinking of Roswell. Yeah, and I
Oh,
started realizing that's what people were doing. And I'm like, yeah, you would kind of think Roswell because they're known for aliens, but yeah. And then like Area 51, they will not let you in that area. They got like the people, in front, and then you got the gate. And the moment that you cross foot on that gate, there they are.
I can only imagine what's back there. All the aliens and all the weirdness.
But like some people believe that it used to be there, but like some people believe they moved it. Come on,
Oh,
cat, stop that.
that way they're like, well, you won't find it. You can look all you want.
So I don't know, but like I do think Area 51 is mostly like underground tunnels. Oh, Allie.
What are you doing? Like, I'm
I
coming
don't know
back.
what she's trying to do. But like I would love to know what it actually looked like, but I don't think we ever will know.
A mystery.
Crystal says Roswell is where they had the crash in 47. That is not where the base is. And let's see. Trying to see if I don't think I had a question to do with that. Actually, I think I do. Let me see. I do have a question to do with that, Crystal, but it's not like where it happened. It's asking something else. Lauren says, I think crochet is much easier. I can cope with and correct one stitch easier than a row. See, and everyone's different. I find people that knit tend to find that that crochet is harder to learn. People that crochet tend to think knitting's harder to learn.
So I was like, wow.
Lauren says
Oh,
a granny square is probably the only thing I could do blindfolded.
I've yet to learn to do a granny square.
And what's funny? I really have not done a granny square yet.
Don't feel bad. I'm like, well, I think everyone's doing it. I want to be the one that does something different. You know,
The closest is a peppermints from my peppermint blanket,
almost like it, but it's a
but
cheap
they're circular. But I haven't connected anything yet. I've just been making the peppermints.
peppermint.
Crystal says if you get anywhere close to the gate of Area 51, they send someone. I think within so many feet within the gate. Hmm. Because it's like you get anywhere around there, they're watching you like a hawk. Crystal says I thought both were easy to learn. And Lisa says I just learned the granny square. Tank says YouTube has been demonetizing some channels for seeing bottoms. You mean pet bottoms or like people bottoms? And I hope people aren't showing people bottoms.
That'd be sad if it was for animals.
And I really try to prevent like my cats from showing their bottoms on my videos. Like I said, that's where I tend to have one hand kind of like covering that part of their body. So let's see. My next question for y'all is during World War during World War uh getting tongue tied. During World War II, US pilots began reporting odd balls of light or shiny metallic spheres that could fly circles around their planes. What were these UFOs called? And your choices are A, pilot lights, B, missionary lights, C, sidecore spots, or D, Foo Fighters. And again, the question is during World War II, U.S. pilots began reporting oddballs, oddballs of light or shiny metallic spheres that could fly circles around their planes. What were these UFOs called? And your choices are A, pilot lights, B, missionary lights, C, sidecore spots, or D, Foo Fighters. So, what would you go with, Regina?
I'm gonna go with C, but then I think D, either C or D. Like, I know it's something with the pilot.
What was your first instinct?
To go with D.
And they always
And
say trust your first instinct. So,
I don't know. Then C sounds more realistic for the time frame. Because then I think of Foo Fighters, I think of the band.
which one you want to go with? Do, do, do,
Um,
do.
I will go with D. Let's see what my first instinct is like.
So, Roberta's saying pilot lights. Lisa says Foo Fighters. And Charity says pilot lights. Okay, Lisa was lagging. Let me repeat the question in case you didn't hear it, Lisa. During World War II, U.S. pilots began reporting odd balls of light or shiny metallic spheres that could fly circles around their planes. What were these UFOs called? And your choices are pilot lights A, B, missionary lights, C, sidecore spots, or D, Foo Fighters. Okay, where was I? Okay, Roseanne's saying Foo Fighters. So is Lisa. So is Crystal. Let's see if anyone else guesses. So are y'all liking the trivia questions?
I'm liking it. It's making you learn something and you're thinking. So it's fun.
And like I said, and don't if you get it wrong, so be it. This is just meant for fun. And like I said, we learn new things.
Yeah. Then you have something to talk about next time. You're like, did you know that back in World War II, the flights that flew around the pilots were called da-da-da? What was it?
And like I said earlier, if there's topics you would like to see me do trivia on, send me a message, an email.
I thought about like trying to do one like with history of like yarn making and like which came first, knitting or crocheting.
And one thing too, um, like whenever I'm losing my train of thought. But like, okay, like whenever I invite guest stars on my channel, like I am asking them if there's a topic that they want me to go with for my trivia for the day that they come live with me. So like I've had some tell me, and then others say you pick. So, but yeah, I do want to do like cat trivia for one coming up, and I'll probably be doing dog trivia. uh, I'll probably do something like yarn trivia, crochet trivia, knitting trivia. Those are some ideas I have. I wanted to do like biscuit trivia, but I wanted like the biscuits, like the buttery type biscuits.
Buttermilk biscuits.
Yeah. And I couldn't find anything. Everything was like the cookie type biscuits. And I'm like, no, gotta be the biscuits The
Get
real
the flake,
biscuits.
the buttermilk and the melting butter.
Yeah. and and then like I may go back to like topics that I've done and find new questions, trivia questions. So that's another option. Ooh, St. Patrick's Day trivia. Yeah, that one would be good. Like my live right before St. Patrick's Day. Let me find my pen.
Yeah, that would be cool. St. Patty's
Huh.
Day. So that sounds like a good idea. Leprechaun.
And possibly like holidays, maybe try to do a holiday one sometimes. Let me get that down. But yeah, that would be cool. But yeah, I decided to kind of change things up because the getting to know you questions, I've asked so many of them that it's hard to come up with new questions, and I've been repeating, questions I've asked before lately. And whenever I started doing the coffee trivia on the coffee coffee with Connie live, I was like, I think I'm going to start doing some trivia now, just to kind of change things up.
I like
And
it. It's fun.
and it
Something
is
different.
fascinating some of the stuff that you find out. Ooh, I'm cold.
I was like, my nose
Oh,
is cold.
one thing too that I want to mention to y'all, and like I was so excited whenever I got these two people to schedule coming live with me, and I think y'all gonna enjoy these guest stars that will be coming up in March. On March 7th, Dana and Dooley with Dana's Wonderlust Crochet will be coming live with me, and that's my Monday live at 11:30 on the 7th. And then Seta with Seta's Place will be coming live with me Wednesday, the 23rd at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Awesome. I'll have to, hopefully I'm off some days or watch you guys in the replay.
Because like the channels that are larger, it typically is harder to get them to come live with you. They're so busy and stuff. And it's like when you get one that's on a larger channel, it's like it's exciting. It's like we look at them as like the big stores.
Movie stars, the famous people.
It
They're the
really
popcorn
is
fun.
true. They're just regular people like us.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Paparazzi.
Okay, Brenda says B, which was missionary lights. Yeah, Lisa loves the UFO trivia. I knew she would. You still behind? Yeah, she's still behind me. She's on the back of my chair, but I got to be careful that Allie don't fall because she'll dig her claws in and scratch me if she does. Yeah, Crystal thinks trivia is fun and informative. Okay, Jody says B, missionary lights. Crystal says I should be doing Doctor Who trivia on her lives. Yeah, that would be a good idea. And really you would be perfect for that one because you know about that show. Like me, I don't really know anything about Doctor Who.
I don't think I've
So
seen it, but I don't think I've watched it.
yeah, Brenda likes to trivia learn things. Crystal says, since I know I have a few people that watch Doctor Who and it's her favorite show. Charity says biscuits is making her hungry. I don't know if you realize this, Charity, but my husband Frank, his nickname is the biscuit. So if you hear me saying the biscuit, that's who I'm referring to. That's why we kind of get on the topic of biscuits sometimes on my channel. Lisa says, I can't wait to see Seta. I know, Seta's so sweet. And Crystal's saying how awesome you got Dana and Seta. Yeah, and what's funny is Frank actually knows who Dana is. Because like sometimes whenever I'd watch her videos, like he kind of pays attention because she's a truck driver and he used to be a truck driver. But yeah, Frank don't really know anything about Yorny stuff. Okay. So the answer to the question was D, Foo Fighters.
Look at
Stick
that.
to your instincts. Because really that is something like when taking tests and stuff, they say always go with your first instinct. It's usually right. Not always, but
It's like when we do like on the chats when they're doing the giveaways and the stuff. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go with this number, and then it's not the first number that popped up my head. It's usually that number. And see, I went with that one.
and it is true. Like when you're decisive between two things and you say you don't go with your first instinct, that's usually when you miss the question. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I should have gone with this.
No, I had it right the first time.
Okay, I think we're going to do one more question before we wrap things up. I was hoping we would have gotten to more questions, but it's like when you're live, you don't know. It's like we get talking and as it is, I'm going a little over an hour and a half. Okay. So the last question I'm going to ask today is when was the earliest known UFO sighting? Frank's coming back in the door squealing. Okay. Your choices are A, 1200 BC, B, 100 BC, C, the year 1086, or D, 1941. And again, the question is when was the earliest known UFO sighting? And your choices are A, 1200 BC, B, 100 BC, C, the year 1086. That's like awkward to say, 1086, or D, 1941.
I'm gonna
What do you
go with. I'm gonna say B. Either it's A or B, but I want to go with B because I'm thinking of like of the History Channel stuff. Like they have the Atlantis or Atlantis, where they get back to time, the Bible time and stuff, and talk about stuff like that. Thinking, I might change it before I know.
We shall see. Charity says she loves Seta. She helped her get to 100 subscribers. Awesome.
Oh.
And Lisa says she can't wait to see Dana too. We both live in Oregon, I think. Sorry, y'all. Okay. Lisa's saying that's so cool, Frog. Oh, okay, I get it now. Charity. I was like, frog. We weren't talking about frogs, and then it connect. The dots connected. Okay, let's see. Lisa says 1200 BC. Charity says 1941. Brenda says 1200 BC. Crystal says 1086. So does Roseanne. Jody's saying 1200 BC. Roberta says 1086. No, I'm sorry. She says 1000. Hold up. Do you mean 100 BC, Roberta? The options was A, 1200 BC, B, 100 BC, C, 1086, or D, 1941. Oh, I'm just realizing that Robin joined us. I'm sorry, Robin. How are you doing today? And what are you currently working on? And yes, if y'all don't have Robin, go check her out. Throw some yarn in her window and show her some yarny love and support. And
Yeah, she
I think I forgot to say this when it comes to Regina. If y'all don't have Regina, go check her out. Throw that yarn in her window and show her
yarn.
your yarny love and support too. I always try to say that for my guest stores, and I just realized I never said that today.
Yeah, she Robin popped in while I was trying to see how well my laptop worked on going live and stuff. I was like, oh, like someone else is popping in. And we sitting there, she was asking me a question. Hopefully, I helped her answer that knitting question. But I got my book, so I will look and see. Maybe I'll copy something and send it to her to help her out.
But yeah, I try to make a point of trying to encourage people to check out my guest stores.
I'm
Let's
throwing
see,
some yarn in my window.
Vicky's in the house too. How are you doing today, Vicky? And what are
Hello,
you currently working on?
and what's in your cup?
Oh, Roberta says she was just throwing a number out to be part of the crowd.
I think it's
And
almost like a hot chocolate kind of moment, almost like or a cappuccino. Probably shouldn't drink any more coffee. Probably won't sleep tonight. I'll get more knitting done.
okay, let's see if anyone else guesses. The last question was, when was the earliest known UFO sighting? A, 1200 BC, B, 100 BC, C, 1086, or D, 1941? Give it just a little longer before I reveal the answer. And also, everyone, don't forget, tomorrow is my birthday bash at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. We got a party. We're going to raise the roof.
My dog's excited.
You heard that, Allie? You heard the doggy?
He's playing with his toy. He's like, it's playtime. Squeak, squeak.
Lisa says, I'm doing my physical therapy exercises for my shoulder and hips while I lurk. Apparently, they are weak.
Stretch.
Vicky just got back from Golden Coral in Tyler, Texas. Not working. Do you mean Golden Corral? I didn't even know they still had any Golden Corrals.
Earth closed years ago. Like they were fine until like the new company took over, and after that they weren't any good anymore.
And
I love going there.
Vicky's not working on anything this moment. Yeah, I remember it's like Ryan's was a big thing, which I don't even know if there's any Ryan's left. I know a lot have shut down.
I don't know. We used to have one down. It was an hour away from us, and then like Shoney's.
And then like Golden Corral came around, and I think they started kind of hurting Ryan's. But yeah.
Like our favorite restaurant is like the #1 Chinese buffet. They went out of business or closed down after the COVID started. So.
Oh, also, I want to remind everybody that I think I kind of got confused on my days, but because for some reason I was thinking like I think yesterday that there was only yesterday and today left to submit pictures, but there's also the 27th. But anyway, my snow theme video, if y'all haven't gotten y'all pictures in, there's not much time left to get your pictures. I need them by the end of the day, February 27th. So
I was out taking some from at work one day, me and the girls. I was like, let's go get pictures. You probably
so get your snow pictures in. And then of course I have my finished objects video that's going to be March 15th. So if y'all finish making any projects, take pictures, send those. And a new one that I'm going to be doing, which I mentioned this in my video yesterday, I'm going to be doing a favorite coffee mug video, which the idea stimulated from my coffee with Connie lives. But I would like to see everyone's favorite coffee mugs. Or,
One today is. I don't know if you can read it. Wait, here it is.
so take a picture of y'all coffee mugs and send those to my email, which my email is just another stitch 2020@gmail.com. And don't forget the 2020 on it. I've had a few people forget the 2020. But yeah, so that's a video that I'm gonna be doing. I haven't the date written in my calendar, and I mentioned it, like I said, in my knitting Friday video when it's gonna be, but I can't really grab my calendar since I'm holding her.
Holding the baby.
But yeah, and then I'm gonna be doing another pet video. So get pictures of y'all pets too and send those in.
You hear that, Butters? He don't
I
like
like
it when you.
I love picture videos.
He moves as soon as you start to take a picture.
Like I love seeing like these things, like things in other areas, or like how people decorate. Oh, hi
doggy. He's like, nope. Ooh, I know you're up to something. Butters, you being a good boy. Hi, everybody.
Aww.
Your name's Bubs. We call him Butters. Butters. What? You say my name? We got a treat. I need a treat.
Say hi to Butters.
Butters.
Allie's like, I'd rather be sleeping.
Yeah, he's like, nope, not looking. Nope.
And Roberta says, we still have a Golden Corral, no Ryans. Crystal says there is a Golden Corral about 40 minutes from here. And that's the thing that like my town, we hardly have anything. We just basically have like the fast food chain restaurants and some mom and pop places. But like
McDonald's.
But like places like Chili's, Golden Corral, Applebee's, stuff like that, we don't have none of that.
Yeah, we have to drive like an hour to get to the good stuff. But we have like 2 Subways. I'm like, and a Hardee's and a McDonald's.
Yeah, we have Subway.
And a Pizza Hut. And then a little Caesars, but that's in with their gas station.
Yeah, we have Gaddy's, Little Caesars, and Pizza Hut. But that's pretty much.
And we got like some mama and papa restaurants.
And the funny thing is that like I'm initially from a bigger town, so I'm used to having those type of places. And then I moved to a smaller town, and it's like, there's nothing here. Brenda says she posted her snow pictures on the Facebook group. Okay, I'm gonna have to go look at my group. I need to go through posts to save pictures too, because some people post their finished projects in my Facebook group. And if y'all aren't in my Facebook group, go check my group out. Nightbot drops the link at some point. So Nightbot did drop the link earlier, but my group is called Just Another Stitch. So y'all should easily be able to find it on Facebook, and it has my channel logo on it. So just look for that. Everyone's saying hi to Butters.
Butters, everybody saying hi.
Lisa says never heard of Golden Corral, or she has Orion, but I think she means Ryan's. Okay. So I am caught up in the chat, and is there anything else that you would like to say before we say say goodbye?
I just appreciate everybody that comes in and throws some yarn in my window and joins my family and supports, and just happy that people actually stop by and say hi.
And thank you for coming live with me today, Regina.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. I had
Yeah,
fun.
I enjoyed having you too. And I want to
Mars,
thank everybody that came today to watch the live and those that will be watching on replay. And oh, yes, I am scheduling my lives for March. So if anyone is interested in coming live with me, send me an email. And I really need someone for this coming Wednesday. I don't have anyone, I think it's Wednesday. I don't have anyone scheduled for Wednesday yet for the first week of March. Yeah, Wednesday. And also, I really want to try to get people to come live with me on Thursdays. And I kind of figured like the issue with Thursdays is that I use Restream on Thursdays instead of StreamYard. But Restream is basically pretty much the same way, works pretty much the same as StreamYard. You know, it's basically like setting up an email account. Then I send you a link. You click on the link, and then you'll have something come up that says something like enter broadcast. It might not quite say broadcast, but it says enter something. You click on that, and then it brings you to my screen, and then I pull you up and I do the rest. So it's not anything hard or difficult.
yeah, I
But
wanted
yeah,
to go on Thursdays live. I was like, that's the one day that I know so far that I always have off for some reason. But I was like, my luck, once I start doing it, I'll get stuck working Thursdays. But I didn't go live this week. I went a little bit earlier today just to see how my laptop was working, to see if it would be worth me doing my videos so that people don't have to wait for part 2 or part 3 to come out. To be continued.
but if you want to come live on a Thursday, just send me an email or you usually do Instagram. Just send
Yeah,
me a
but I
message on
didn't
Instagram, and because I don't have anyone for this, this coming Thursday, so
I
that one's.
think I'll have to look, but I think I am off. I'll check and see.
Oh, Crystal's just bringing up something. I never said the answer for the last question. I am so sorry. Okay, so the answer for when was the earliest known UFO sighting was B, 100 BC. And it actually is biblical.
I was
It's
supposed to say,
it's mentioned in the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel. I'm not saying it quite right. Ezekiel. Ezekiel. That's it. I'm horrible at pronouncing words.
I am too. I'm like,
But yeah,
oh,
which that was kind of interesting because I wouldn't have thought that it went that far back.
I'm
Like,
trying to remember that History Channel has it, and they go Agent. Is it Alien Artifacts or Agent? It starts with an A, and they talk about like the biblical times and how the aliens and stuff visited like before the time, and how did like the Egypts learn to build their pyramids and stuff.
but yeah, I thought that was kind of fascinating. But I'm so sorry, y'all. I got sidetracked and it was like I'm thinking that I had revealed the answer already. But yeah, so anyway, I think I've covered everything that I want to mention. But I hope everyone has a fabulous Yorny day. Be the light and bye.
Have a good evening. Bye bye.